Arcari. Give it up.
Put my head right down to her toe. Breaks into the dollar, almost everywhere. Almost everywhere. I'm Dave Arcari. Thanks very much for Terra Blues for having me this evening. Enjoy the rest of your night. We have some CDs and DVDs and vinyl and all sorts of shit down here. Buy my stuff. Thanks very much. Enjoy the rest of your night. Good night.
After my US debut show at Terra Blues Greenwich Village, we drive 100 miles south on Interstate 95 to Philadelphia.
Alright, hey music listeners, this is Sean from Unclaimed Bands. Tonight we're coming from the legendary Dobbs, 304 South Street in Philadelphia. And our guest tonight, all the way from Scotland, is Dave Arcari.
Hey,
welcome,
Sean.
Dave. How you doing?
Fine, thanks, Sean.
We have an interview show. Been doing it about 4 years now. We do an audio interview, release it as a podcast. So by the time we get an interview here, we know that the band or the artist has to be pretty darn good. You can go to our website, unclaimedbands.com, and there's links to all the interviews that we've done. We're available on iTunes. We're available on most of the major podcasting outlets. It's all for free. We don't charge anything.
I drank all this whiskey and learned some of his tricks.
We take 2 days to drive southwest through the Smoky Mountains to Knoxville, Tennessee for shows at the Preservation and WDVX Radio.
For the blues, walking like a man. Of this morning, all the blues, walking like a man.
Say hello to your host, Ms. Red Hickey.
Hey y'all, welcome to the Blue Blade Special. It's real loud music here in beautiful downtown Knoxville, Tennessee. We're all here hanging out in the visitor center. Y'all come hang out with us. We've got a great show for you here today. Right now, to get things started, he calls Scotland home. It's great to have him with us here today on the Blue Blade Special. You all welcome Dave Arcari to the Blue Blade Special.
Have you ever heard that engine roar? Have you ever heard that engine roar? Have you ever heard that engine roar? I don't hear that sound anymore.
WDVX Blue Plate Special is a live radio show that airs here in the Knoxville Visitor Center Monday through Saturday, 2 bands a day, 6 days a week at noon, and it's free. And it's anything from local artists, independent artists, international artists, and everything from classical to Tubian throat singers to country, bluegrass, singer-songwriters, folk music. We're not too particular about the type of genres that play on the Blue Plate Special, but we do consider WDVX is an Americana radio station, and so that we kind of generalize that as a station for music that doesn't have radio stations. Like there's already plenty of rock stations and plenty of pop stations and plenty of commercial country stations. So we play the kind of music they don't.
Next stop is Chattanooga for a show at JJ's Bohemia. Almost at the end of the first leg of the tour, the East Coast USA and down into Tennessee. The gigs have been going really well. We've met loads of fantastic people. We're stopping in Chattanooga. I had a gig here last night at JJ's Bohemia, and I'm about to go and do a radio interview at Chattanooga Public Radio. We've got a couple of hours to spare, so we've come down here to check out the legendary Chattanooga Choo Choo.
Part of, comes with the territory, I suppose.
Yeah.
Well, although you haven't been here very long, right? What is it, like about a week, I suppose?
About a week, yeah. We arrived last Tuesday, and the first show of the tour was in Greenwich Village last Wednesday.
On Independence Day?
Day before, so we had Independence Day
I was going
off.
to say.
Then on to Nashville for a few days, and a visit to Puckett's Grocery at Leaper's Fork for Cherrywood smoked ribs, the very best.
And one of the things that's become obvious to us living in Nashville is that there are great musicians here, but it's a hard time to find gigs that are really fun. Most of the gigs are just done on a tip jar basis, unless you're in a position to, bring in 500 or more people like that at a time. Most of the clubs in Nashville work on that kind of basis. That's all well and good, but, it's also a little bit of odd, and sometimes musicians feel underappreciated. So we thought it'd be great to put together a concert series that was kind of about providing musicians with an audience that really cared about what they were doing in really pleasant surroundings.
Well, Lady Godiva never rode again. The sassy blonde was hanged. Well, the last lady never made a sound as the trapdoor below was banged. Well, out she came to make a speech. I think she just came here to die. I doubt she came to make a speech. I think she just came here to die. I doubt she came to make a speech. I think she just came here to die.
But when you have musicians of that caliber playing on your back porch, you know something magical is going to happen, and every time we have.
Before we leave Nashville, I record a session for Mando Blues.
Never been a good boy, 501 for black. Just 'cause I was brought up on the wrong side of the track, so I might be a little fucked up, but that don't give you right. Don't take me for the devil, I won't go without a fight.
The studio's in a big old army tent in a forest at the edge of town, and it's quite some operation.
Don't never know something, step on that good old flag. Don't never know something, step on that good old flag. I ain't got no more trouble, woo, right until the end.
But we've had an absolutely fantastic time here in Nashville. Before we leave though, we have to drop into Third Man Records, Jack White's record label and store. We leave Nashville in Tennessee behind and take a 2-day drive north to Iowa, stopping in Davenport en route to record a session for Daytrotter.
That's fun. That's fun. How you been?
Great, thanks.
Show's been good?
Yeah, we've been a big...
We're here in Davenport. We have another studio in Rock Island, Illinois, and and we invite people that we like in to record 4-song sessions that we put up on the web for people to listen to and download. No, we started Daychart about 8 years ago in 2006, and we've we catch a lot of people kind of on the upswing, a lot of people right before they sort of break big, and then we get a lot of people kind of like the Blind Boys of Alabama or the Preservation Hall Jazz Band, who obviously everybody's known about them for a long time, but it's one of those things that's sort of taken on a life of its own.
From there, it's a short drive to Iowa City, where I'm playing a show at the Mill.
Today's the day, everything's cool. Come on! Money man's here and nobody's fool.
Next, we head to Winona, where Minnesota's infamous road closures over the summer take us onto the local back roads.
That'll be where it starts, and then the rest of the song will build round that.
This thing you will ever find.
After the radio show, we head on to the venue.
We're here tonight to play a show. I'm going to play, Dave Arcari is going to play.
Today's the day, everything's cool. Money man's here
And people in Winona love their blues and their folk music, and they come out to see it, and they dance and they have a good time. All over Minnesota, people like to hear this old music, and I've been lucky. I get to play all around the state, got to play around the country, both coasts in the south a little bit, and I've gotten to play in Australia, gotten to play in Scotland and in Ireland and in England and in several countries in Europe. I've been lucky to be able to sing folk songs, which I thought that I would sing on my porch until I was old and decrepit, and now I get to sing them to people that I don't even know. I feel like I'm blessed to get to do that.
Has lain in play with Bruce and Loyal Wallace. Come on! With pith and power to my last hour, I'll make this declaration. We're bought and sold for English gold. Such a parcel of rogues in a nation. Such a parcel of rogues in a nation. Such a parcel of rogues in a nation.
The next day, after a fantastic night with Charlie at Ed's in Winona, we follow the mighty Mississippi northwards and stop off to check out the rivers Lock and Dam number 5 before we head to Red Wing for a night off and some chill out time. Then it's off to Hudson for a look round on the way to the next show in Bayport.
We've stopped off here in Hudson, Wisconsin on our way up to Bayport. I'm playing the famous Bayport barbecue tonight for Chris Johnson. The venue is an absolute landmark, an iconic place on the US deep blues scene, so I'm really looking forward to playing the show tonight.
Tonight we've got Dave Arcari here. We're very happy to have him coming in from Scotland. We've probably been on the internet for several years, back from the very first Deep Blues festivals, hoping we could get Dave over here, and glad he can be involved at least at the barbecue. He missed the festival this year, but maybe we can get him back next year. Been following Dave's music for years. He's played with a lot of the bands we've worked with. We've had, about 300 different bands through the barbecue and through the festivals over the years, and really happy to have so many talented folks from all around the world coming here.
My baby said to me just the other day, why you wanna go? Please won't you stay? But I'm gonna tell you just what's on my mind. Well, I don't wanna go, I just can't
I started the Deep Blues Festival back in 2007. After I sold a company, I just did it as something to fill my time and support this kind of music, the outsider and alternative blues that I enjoy.
French Lake is our next stop, where I have a show at Weber's Deck, a weekly house concert series hosted by Casey and Lisa Weber. That, with an audience of around 700 folk, is more like a festival than a house concert.
Oh, I just wanna tell you.
Then it's on to Rhinelander, for the first of a run of Wisconsin shows sorted by my pal Tom Jordan. Last night's excess at Quaddy's with Tom and the Ditch Runners has taken its toll. But there's no time for self-pity, as I've 2 shows in Green Bay, the first of which is an in-store downtown at Rock and Roll Land.
This is Rock and Roll Land. We sell vinyl and music. We're just big music fans and always got our ear open and looking for new talent. So we love hosting live music. It's always free. We do all ages shows.
Oh, I saw my daddy. He was standing by the road. Must have been a dream. He died 10 years ago. Come on.
We consider like Johnny Cash rock and roll and Buck Owens rock and roll, so it's all rock and roll to us. So.
Then it's off to the Crunchy Frog for a gig with Tom's band, Mean Tooth Grin.
Currently, we're doing some dates with Dave, playing some shows around the Midwest, Wisconsin, Illinois. Really excited about these shows, having a great time with Dave. Wisconsin has been really supportive of us and fun, and it's just about finding the right places to play. Really, a lot of people think that they're down on their hometown because it's your hometown. It's never that cool, but we're very proud of where we're from, and with my duo, the Goddams, we actually have titled our album Wisco Disco, which makes no sense whatsoever, but it's kind of an homage to where we're from and that we're proud of it and kind of embrace it. Small town Midwest guys, but we're like anybody else. We just want to rock and roll, play some shows, and have a good time doing it. So hopefully people dig it.
We hit some pretty heavy traffic in Chicago. First stop here is Fearless Radio for a live session and interview.
That's the good stuff, little spit, little sweat, little blood, all of it,
Then more traffic on the way to tonight's show at Reggie's.
Well, nothing makes my heart start to race.
Next day, we visit my old friend Nan at Bloodshot Records.
This is the headquarters for Bloodshot Records in Chicago, Illinois. We've been at this now 19 years. I can't believe it. I never would have guessed it would have lasted 3 or 5 when we started. It really started as a hobby and then turned into business. And we still get to work with bands we love and respect and try to further their careers and put out more music we love. My partner Rob and I are just old punks, and we were looking for something, that grabbed us and that had the immediacy of punk rock that spoke to us. It seemed new and exciting, and that's how we got here. I mean, really, it was finding those artists that were doing something unique and some rare combination of things, and it has to all be honest, and the artists have to all be hardworking. I mean, no one here is getting rich. We're doing it because we love it, and there's certainly easier ways to make a living, but I wouldn't trade it. It's much harder to sell records than it ever was, and to do that, we can only afford to work with hard touring bands. There was a day when, we'd find some artist we liked or some band, and we'd, say, oh, let's make a record, and if we could make the record for a few $1,000s, we could then sell 2,000 copies, break even, and everyone was happy. But these days, we can't automatically even sell 2,000 copies. And so the bands, to get national media attention, you have to have a national tour. And so we are only working with hard touring bands these days, bands doing over 100 dates a year. And that's a really hard lifestyle to maintain, and I respect the artists who do it. It comes down to the artists have to be so driven that they have no choice and that's what they do.
Then it's the last train back downtown. There's also time to visit America's oldest independent jazz and blues label, Delmark Records.
We want originality. And in blues, unlike, my feeling is blues is a verbal, vocal music with incidental guitar, harmonica, piano, whatever accompaniment. I think an awful lot of white folks think blues is a guitar music with incidental vocal. We don't face all the facts of the record business here at Delmark, but we try to stay alive. We're trying to keep the label going.
After a couple of days off, we drive to Marshall for the first of two shows with Left Lane Cruiser. The second show with the guys is at Founders Brewing Company in Grand Rapids, where, towards the end of my set, I'm joined on stage by Left Lane drummer Brent. We continue north through Michigan to Traverse City, where we have a couple of days with my cousin and a show at Inside Out Gallery.
My baby said to me just the other day, why you wanna go? Please won't you stay? But I'm gonna go see what's in the store.
The next show is in Massachusetts, a 1,000-mile drive, which we break up with night-off stopovers in Toledo and Syracuse.
What do we do? This is because of the regime.
We are in Providence, Rhode Island right now, and this particular night came about, which is kind of a big musical night. We have Dave Arcari here from Scotland. We have Reverend Robert here from Illinois. We have the 10-Foot Polecats, a really interesting band out of Boston that's really kind of reinventing a certain kind of genre of music. We have Aaron Harp and the Delta Swingers are here, and we're at a place called Nickanese, which in Providence is pretty close to the concept of a juke joint.
You'll ever find. The
After shows with Mark and his band in South Hadley and Providence, Rhode Island, we all head to Boston for a matinee show at the famous Midway Cafe.
Action! You dance to the rhythm. Hello, the gallows tree.
The last major drive of the trip is back down to New York, where we hang out with my cousins in Manhattan, then hit Brooklyn for the final show of the tour.
That's us at the end of the 6-week US tour, finishing off almost where we started in New York City. The first date was in Greenwich Village, and we're finishing up here at the Trash Bar in Brooklyn with a show this evening.
She said, just came here to die.